And good day, everyone. This is Candelario, the one who report PES 29, Financial Reporting in Hyperinflationary Economics. Economists, right? So in our learning objectives, we have two. First, state the core principle under PES 29, and second, describe the restatement procedure under PES 29. So what is PES 29? So PAS 29 prescribe the restatement procedures in the financial statement of an entity whose functional currency is the currency of hyper economies. So we have 2 points here, the functional currency and hyperinflation. So functional currency, main currency used by a business or unit of a business. It is the monetary unit of account of the principal economic environment in which an economic entity operates. And hyperinflation is a term to describe rapid, excessive, and out of control price increases in an economy. To further my explanation of this hyperinflation, I want you to discuss this stable monetary assumption. So, under the stable monetary assumption, the purchasing power of money is assumed to be stable. Therefore, inflation is ignored. This exception, the exception to this concept is hyperinflation. So, bakit ito pinag-uusapan? Because this stable monetary assumptions um, provide us consistencies in the reporting, meaning because of the consistency of the financial reporting, comparable yung FS mo from the previous years sa current financial statement mo. Hence, the stable monetary assumptions. Because of that concept, concept of that consistency, of that consistency, consistency. So, kasi kung consistent siya and edi, you can compare that with the previous financial statement with that period statements. So kaya comparable pa rin sila. Kaya ngayon nandito si stable monetary assumption. Kaya the inflation is ignored. However, the stable monetary assumption, the concept of this is hyperinflation. Bakit? Kasi itong hyperinflation is out of the ordinary na. Tapos itong inflation ay normal na. Tapos itong hyperinflation is inflation that is out of ordinary na. Hindi na yan yung normal. Because of this abnormality, kaya iibahin na natin itong ating presentation. So, let us also discuss this price level changes first. So, general price level changes and the purchasing power of money have an inverse relationship. Ang inverse relationship ito yung inflation and deflation. So, inflation and deflation. So, what is inflation? If the general price level increases, this means that the purchasing power of money has decreased, a condition known as inflation. So basically, ang inflation is the increase in prices, while at the same time, there is an increased power of money, meaning yung piso ko dati makakabili pa ako ng 4 na candy, pero ngayon yung piso mo, since bumaba na nga yung purchasing power niyan because of inflation, isa na lang na candy ang mabibili mo. In this case, ito yung ito yung inverse relationship. So if the general price level decreases, this means that the purchasing power of money has increased, a condition known as deflation. So inverse relationship, tumaas yung um, prices level, tumaas ang presyo, bumaba yung purchasing power ng pera. On the other hand, second, on the other hand, ito, ito yun. So again, inflation, there is a general price level increase, purchasing power of money, like decreases, mataas ang presyo, bumababa yung ability nung purchasing power ng pera mo. Price level changes. Pagdating naman sa hyperinflation, abnormality na yan kasi sobra na yung changes na nangyayari. So let's move on here in hyperinflation. So hyperinflation occurs, wait. Hyperinflation occurs when inflation is very high. So ano yung mga bansa ba na nakaka-experience ng hyper inflation nito? We have here Argentina, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, and then yung German mark after World War I. Yan yung ilang mga bansa na grabe yung pagtaas ng prices niya. Well, at the same time, yung value ng pera nila pababa ng pababa. Hence, nagiging required na sila na lagyan ng multiple zeros ang kanilang papers currency to accommodate or at least sabayan ang level ng hyperinflation kasi tumataas na. So ngayon, dito na papasok yung PS29. So, PSA29 does not establish an absolute rate at which hyperinflation is deemed to arise. This is of a matter of judgment. Walang threshold na sinasabi na okay pag naging 500% na yung inflation rate. Okay, okay yung hyperinflation na to. Hindi. Walang threshold na sinasabi kailanman because inflation nga is a matter of judgment. In here, let us talk about the indicators. So, what is the indicators of hyperinflation? So, the general population refers to keeps its wealth in non-monetary asset. Gaya ng gold, ang value kasi ng gold is very consistent. Or, in a relatively stable foreign currency, which is as the moment the US dollar. So instead na i-cash ang kanilang pera in their local currency, igagastos na lang nila ito or i-invest na lang nila ito kumbaga in other assets na kung saan consistent yung value na. So that is a non-monetary asset like gold or in a relatively stable foreign currency like the US dollar para hindi magbago yung value ng kanyang assets or value ng kanyang wealth. So next is the general population regards monetary amounts not in terms of the local currency but in terms of a relative stable foreign currency. Like for example, if we search in the internet, diba, may mga certain countries ang ginawang national currency nila is the US dollar instead ng kanilang local currency. Kaya ginagamit nila yung US dollar even na hindi naman talaga sila under ng USA pero ang ginagamit nila yung US dollar to quote prices in the currency because the US dollar is relatively stable. So kung may nakita kayo na hindi under ng US pero US dollar yung kanilang currency, we can safely assume na may hyperinflation sa country na yan. Kaya napilitan silang gamitin or gumamit ng foreign currency to quote their prices kasi nga mas stable yung foreign currency na yon kaysa sa kanilang local currency. So next we have here sales, sales and purchases on credit. Sales on sales and purchases on credit take place at prices that compensate for the expected loss of purchasing power during the credit period, even if the period is short. So yun. Kasi 'di ba, pag credit, um, differs muna yung bayaran diyan. So pag differs yung bayaran diyan, ibig sabihin mag-iintay ka pa. So kung iintayin mo pa yung um, bayad, the tendency is if wait lang. If it's that in hyperinflation economy, bababa yung value ng marireceive mo as compared sa on cash agad na babayaran. So in order to compensate to that, expected loss is tataasan na yan. So interest rate, wages, and prices are linked to a price index. The cumulative inflation rate over 3 years is approaching or exceeds 100%. So itong mga ito is indicators lang yan. But then, yung hyperinflation is a matter of judgment pa din. Indicators lang to ng mayroong hyperinflation. So next is the core principle. Yan. The financial statement of an entity that reports in the currency of a hyperinflationary economy, whether they are based on historical costs or current costs, shall be stated in terms of measuring unit. In terms of measuring unit current at the end of the reporting period. So, pag functional currency mo is the currency of the hyperinflation economy, pagdating ng reporting mo at the end of reporting period, ang gagamitin mong basis is yung measuring unit at the end of the reporting period. Compare. Ano yun? At the end of the reporting period. So, comparative figures for prior periods shall also be restated into the same current measuring unit. So, meaning, magkakaroon ka ng restatement dahil nga nagkaroon ng hyperinflation. So, yung current period mo, iba na yung kanyang presentation because of the hyperinflation. Ngayon, na yung previous period mo, wala pang hyperinflation yan. Hence, hindi sila magtutugma nung current period mo. Kasi nga, yung current period mo ay may hyperinflation. Yung previous period mo, wala. So, hindi magiging comparable yung information mo. Kaya, to make it comparable, i-restate na yun natin yung prior period para makita yung comparability nila. So, paano? Ito, shall be restated into the same current measuring, shall be restated into the same, shall be restated into the same current measuring unit. Pag ginawa mo yan, edi, yung previous period mo, ina-account na yung hyperinflation. So, nangyari, hyperinflation sa nangyari dun sa current period. Ibig sabihin, magiging comparable na sila. So, tindugma mo na sila. So, presentation of information as a complement to unrestated financial statement is not permitted. So, hindi siya permitted. Separate presentation of the financial statement before restatement is discouraged. So, wag mo ipakita yung before restatement ng previous period mo. Ipakita mo lang kung saan in-account mo yung hyperinflation. Next, let's talk about the restatement of financial statement. So, ano yung binabago natin dyan sa statement of financial position natin o sa balance sheet? Ang mga nire-restate lang natin dyan is yung non-monetary items. Itong non-monetary items. So, only non-monetary items is statement of financial positions amount not already expressed in terms of measuring unit current at the end of the reporting period are restated. So, bakit? Ang monetary items ay hindi siya nire-restated kasi sabi dito, monetary items are not restated because they are already expressed in terms of the monetary unit at the end of the reporting period. So what is the monetary items? Monetary items are money held and items to be received or paid in fixed determinable amount of money without two futures of specific goods or services. Monetary items include monetary assets and monetary liabilities. So ngayon, anything outside that is considering non-monetary items, pero yung non-monetary items measured at a fair value or NRV, net realizable value, at the end of the reporting is not restated kasi if i-restate pa natin yan ay magiging redundant na siya kasi they are already expressed sa kanilang value at the end of the period. So, don't need to restate them. The restatement of comprehensive income and statement of cash flows, all of them are restated. Yes, all they are restated. So we have formula for restatement. So historical cost times current times the fraction of current price index, which is the index as of end of reporting period divided by the historical price index o the items which is indexed as a acquisition date. So kung ano yung lalabas dyan, yan yung imumultiply mo sa historical cost, and that is the answers for the restated account. So we have take note here, if it is impracticable to determine the historical price indices such as the transaction recurring very frequent and average generally price index for the period may be used. So yung average general price index yung gagamitin natin. So we have also the restatement of financial statement. The gain or loss on the net monetary position resulting from the statement is recognized in to the profit or loss. Wait lang. Yeah. So, dito, net monetary items or monetary asset less monetary liabilities, ito yung add na siya, yung not restated. Ilalas natin siya into net monetary items and which is the restated. And the answer with that is gain or loss on net monetary position. So kung negative siya, edi loss, and kung positive siya, ay gain. So the gain or loss on the net monetary position, also called purchasing power gain or loss, is recognized in profit or loss. So as a last part of this is consolidated financial statement. The financial statement of the entity needs consolidated in the groups of financial statement. So my materials references here is Melan ZB, Anti-Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standard 2020 edition. So this is all about my report, and thank you for listening.